Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of LabTalks. I'm Ben Putley and I've been joined today by my two co-founders, Chandru and Chorley.
Hi.
Hello.
We wanted to do another video, another podcast episode, just to talk through some of the recent releases, updates, news about Alkimi in general. So I think the first thing that we wanted to talk about today was video display ads. And for those of you that might not know what that is, you've probably seen on the Labs page that we have static banners. Those banners are used very widely throughout the inventory for advertisers and are sold by publishers. But we talk a lot about the total size of the digital market. That is to the tune of $600-700 billion. That is not all in one ad format. So that is broken up between display, search, social, video, native, connected TV. So one of the things that we wanted to start to do was support those additional ad types that will allow us to access different pools of demand from advertisers, from buyers, from people that are buying ads online. So the first step for that is video display ads. And that is very exciting. Video this year is going to grow by 6%, I believe, to $73 billion globally. So it is a large chunk. It's about 10% of that total ad spend worldwide. And it's very important for advertisers that might have a multi-ad format strategy to be able to use Alkimi Exchange to support that. So, Chandru, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about how exactly that works.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ben. So as you rightly mentioned, it is very important for us to show video ads. In fact, it's not just video ads. It's called rich media ads.
Exactly.
Where we have more interaction between the user and the ad that is being shown to the user. So what this actually means is, from a brand's perspective, it engages the user a lot more. There is a potential for users to engage with the ad. There is a gamification that can be brought in. The click-through rates basically are seen to be much higher for rich media ads than they are for static banner ads. That being the case, the amount of revenue that the publisher makes due to these rich media ads is significantly higher than any static media banners that are being shown to the users.
Absolutely,
And also, from a user's perspective, it is that much more engaging in terms of letting the user know whether a product that is being advertised to the user is relevant to them or not. Mm-hmm. It's not just one picture that you have to make sense of. I know there's this popular saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but as we move from a picture to a rich media content, maybe it's worth much more than 1,000 words.
Exactly that. And I think from my career in ad tech, I remember when video ads first started appearing, and it was that innovation in ad format that was driving more spend from brands, from media agencies that were looking for a way to achieve additional performance and also publishers achieve more revenue. In what was, I guess, led by a very successful business in YouTube. YouTube really pioneered ads, slightly different. They were called pre-roll or post-roll or mid-roll. What we're talking about here is video ads that sit alongside a piece of content. Sometimes they can be referred to as outstream, but also, rich media really did facilitate a lot more ad spend and dollars to be captured by publishers and then audiences to be engaged with in a different way from advertisers.
That's very true. Sorry, go on, Joe.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think as well it really changes like the call to action.
True.
So it turns it just from a button with, click here, get your whatever, to like you can actually give a much stronger message, which, is at the end of the day is what advertising is about. It's about messaging and engagement, and video is a lot more engaging than just static banners, really.
Very true. In fact, this is also one of the feedback that we had received from all of the partners that we are talking to. And there was a huge amount of demand for rich media ads. Even though that was on our product backlog, that was the priority of that was up significantly. And we are now in a position where we can actually start showing rich media ads on Alkimi Labs, as step one always would be showing our work on Alkimi Labs.
Yep.
And since Alkimi Labs has been at the forefront of showing all the things that we've worked on, whether that's soft staking or the Ads Explorer, and we have quite a lot more that we will talk about in this podcast, but video ads are one of them, and we wanted to show our community what we are working on and what effect this would have on the industry. So there you are, that's video ads for you.
Absolutely, yeah, it's exciting. And I'm sure there will be many future ad formats as and when we get requests for those. And as I said, they can be native ads, they can be, what's it called now? InSkin. Is it InSkin? No, that's the brand that does it.
Skin, yeah.
Skins. Sorry, yeah. Shout out to InSkin. But Skins, yeah. So when you kind of have a very, very large takeover of the page itself, there's other ads. I think you'll quite often see these on sites in my mind, stuff like Chorley's old employer Condé Nast, where you have that interstitial that appears as you scroll down the page. But these are all things that we're looking to support in the future to help Alkimi, the exchange, capture as many ad dollars as possible and save more money for more advertisers, generate more revenue for publishers using our exchange in all of the ad formats they are very familiar with working with and that they sell themselves on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think it's important to sort of mention that our partners are both sides of the equation.
Yeah.
So although it's great for advertisers to have these like extra ways to message on those sites, it also brings in like more revenue for those publishers as well. So even though we're returning more ad dollars like all the time, this will then increase that even further. So we're just kind of providing better value for publishers as well. They're getting more of that money. It helps their businesses run better.
Yeah.
Also, not to forget the users, Joe.
True.
Because the users are likely to engage in video ads more than they are with banner ads. And it tells the users whether the product that is being advertised to them is worth their while or not. And it's likely that a user will be converted to a sale. Is that the right phrase? But if they see a meaningful ad. So an ad that's shown to a user is more likely to result in a sale if the ad is engaging, if the ad delivers the kind of message that it wants to, and a video ad is much, much more likely to do that than a static banner ad.
Definitely. I mean, we've all seen the ads that don't have any pictures at all even, and they really like degrade the experience online. I mean, the original AdWords ad were just, do you want to reduce your belly fat? That was kind of it. Click here. It's like, well, how many engagements do you really get out of that? But also from a user perspective, it does look a bit rubbish, and it kind of really degrades the content that you're looking at, makes it less engaging.
So yeah, formats, tick. So the next thing we wanted to talk to you all about is the, I hope some of you are familiar with the Ads Explorer, which is on labs.alkimi.org, which is providing a record of all of the transactions that have taken place. Whilst that is very important to kind of be a proof of life to show that we are validating ads transactions, what Chandru and his team have been working on is making that data a little bit more digestible for people that interact with it on a daily basis. The needs of people that visit labs is very different to people that are buying and selling ads all day. So Chandru, I don't know if this has been your baby. It's been a lot of hard work that's gone into this, but I don't know if you want to talk about the reporting dashboard that we'll be releasing very soon.
Yeah, sure. In fact, the reporting dashboards, the whole reporting piece is a massive feature that we are working on. So if I start from the basics, where we talk about the data pyramid, and I know we've discussed this many a time when we've done our whiteboard sessions, Ben. But there are basically 4 layers of the data pyramid. The bottommost layer being data, the layer above it being information, then we have knowledge, and then at the top of the pyramid is wisdom. Now, how do we apply this concept to the data that we have access to, we as an Alkimi has access to? Now, again, I would like to divide the data, the access to data sets that we have into 2 categories. One is data that can be shown publicly to anybody, which is what is the data that is captured on our public ledger, which is the Ads Explorer. That's category number 1. Category number 2 is data that is not on the public ledger. This is data which could include user PII data, personal information like a locality or an IP address or whatever data that the publishers would pass on to the exchange. So in category 2, we have sensitive data such as the user PII data, and also data that the publishers or the brands do not want us to expose. For example, currently if you look on the Ads Explorer, you don't see information about who those websites are, what the domains are, who those DSPs are, what their IDs are. Because there can be an easy aggregation of these data sets in order to arrive at a bidding strategy that is being followed by a particular brand or a DSP, which people may not be comfortable showing out. So until we are completely sure of all the data sets that people are comfortable to put on the public ledger, these data sets are held on our centralized database. So that's the second data set. Now, while there is quite a lot of data on the Ads Explorer that users, the public, the community can have access to and derive information from, and derive different statistics about how Alkimi is doing, what are the number of transactions that we are processing, and hence the number of nodes that we may need, and extrapolate that. That is one side of things. But the second side of things is the data that we have and what value it can add to publishers and to our demand side partners and brands. Things like what was the minimum bid price, what was the floor bid price that a publisher was looking to get from a website of a certain content type at a certain point of the day.
Yep.
Right? And how were the responses that particular bid request got? How far away from the winning bid price was the average bid price? How far away from the winning bid price was a particular DSP's response to that particular bid request? And hence, how does that DSP need to change their bidding strategy in order to win more bids?
Yeah.
How would they then use that information to reach a target audience that's more likely to buy their products? How would they then use advertisements of different formats and extrapolate that in order to convert these ad views or ad clicks into more product sales? All of this is driven by the raw data that we have. So coming back to the data pyramid, the data, information, knowledge, wisdom, this is where it all fits together. The bottommost layer of the pyramid being data, this is where we can classify the raw log data that we had as the data in the data pyramid. Then whatever is being shown on the Ads Explorer, which is formatted data, is the information that we have been able to extract from the raw logs that we have. What you will see in the next few days is visualizations of this data. And those visualizations will tell you how a particular DSP has performed, how many bid requests they won on a given day, what was their bidding strategy, how was their ad spend. From a publisher's point of view, how much of revenue did they make on a certain ad format, how much of revenue did they make from a certain location at a certain point of day, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of knowledge that we can gain from the information that is on the Ads Explorer and off the chain, which is on our centralized database. And finally, what happens is the topmost part of the pyramid, which is wisdom. This is where it gets very, very interesting, where publishers and the demand side partners and brands can actually determine how they can modify their bidding strategies, their practices, their operations in order to make more sales, in order to generate more revenue, in order to add more value to their users, in order to make sure that the entire ecosystem thrives. So this is where we eventually will get to. And all of this is being driven by the data that we have access to, which has thus far never been exposed to any DSP or any publisher. So we want to make sure that that data is accessible to all of our partners. The data is then analyzed, information is extracted, we ensure that we get the wisdom out of that data and eventually be able to advise each of our partners on how they can add value to themselves and their customers. That is what we are trying to get to. And what you will see in the next few days is when our reporting dashboard goes live, and we are only going to show you the tip of the iceberg at this point in time using a data set that we've collected from Alkimi Labs, which is about a couple of months old, but we just wanted to put that out to the community so that we can show everybody what is the power of that data.
Yeah.
And that is what you will see on Alkimi Labs very soon, where you will see visualization of the information that is presented to you on the Ads Explorer and off the chain. So we have now covered the raw data, which we have access to, the information that was shown on the Ads Explorer, and we will now show you the third layer of the data pyramid, which is the knowledge, which is what we will show you in terms of the visualizations. Finally, we will show you the effect of the wisdom that all of this data will eventually have. That is by adding value, generating more revenue, driving down more costs, and adding value to the entire ecosystem. That is where we are getting to.
Here.
And as a former user of quite a few exchanges, I can tell you that the reporting dashboards are probably one of the worst features on these exchanges. So I remember just trying to pull reports, and I'd be sitting there waiting for maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then the whole thing would just fail.
Yeah.
And you've got to start it again, maybe take out one of the fields because you're trying to cross-reference with too much stuff. But really, even the actual amount of information there was not that rich. So kind of looking at across this website, how many ads served, that's how many clicks was it. There might be some other things like viewability, which is, your pet peeve because it's not a real word. No. And then, maybe a few other things, but there's not that kind of log level data. That data is also not very actionable. I think that's the other thing that's quite important to sort of differentiate, is that by giving people not just you want an impression on this site between these dates or this date or this day, it means that people will then be able to create strategies that actually inform their bidding. So they're more likely to bid more often.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually win more often because our bids return a better rate as well. So it's a net positive for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's the way the exchange operates and the features it has is enough to get people inquisitive enough to want to use it. I think for them to continue to use it, they have to be able to validate those theses or insights they might have based off of the features. So I think this reporting dashboard is a really important step to allow people that are using the exchange to prove that it does work better. They are seeing more value. They are getting more impressions. The performance is better because they can compare it to existing data sets they might have. Then it becomes very obvious that we have more information than they may be getting from other partners, in which case they will then scale their usage. So yeah, it is a very important feature that's been rolled out. It's going to be great for you all to see it, but it's going to be even better for the users of the exchange, the advertisers and the publishers to see more of it anyway. So yeah, that is very exciting. So Chandru, well done.
Thanks, Ben. I think the whole credit goes to the team that's worked on this. And I must say, it's some of our engineers have done such a wonderful job in making it so visually pleasing. I'd never seen a more visually pleasing chart of the data, because data is thought of as being boring. And I've seen CSV files which run through several thousands, tens of thousands of lines where you have to sit through reams of data. But making it colorful, making it interactive, which is what you will see on the reporting dashboards, is something that I particularly enjoyed playing around with. So all credit to the team.
And although it's not going to be on the V1, there's going to be some very interesting features coming out as well later on, right? That, again, are probably industry first in terms of things like carbon reporting. It's a hot button topic at the moment, not just globally, but in the advertising industry. A lot of these companies are buying advertising space, didn't realise that they were basically using up a lot of carbon, which is bad for the environment, but also their kind of ESG goals doesn't really help them much. But there's been no way of actually seeing what that looks like. And by us running on nodes that we can then look into the node, we know which impressions ran on which nodes at what time. We can then obviously give people a score, right? So that's probably going to be a world first feature. Don't want to blow our own trumpet too much, but yeah.
Absolutely. And this data is going to be made available to our partners as well, where, for example, again, we come back to the knowledge and the wisdom piece, where people need to understand what is actually working in driving down carbon emissions and then concentrate on those factors as much as possible. If the rich media ads, which consume more energy than a static banner, are not as effective, then we need to scale down on them. Right. On the other hand, if the amount of value that a static banner ad is adding is not in proportion to the amount of carbon that is being expended, then there needs to be something that's done about it. So this is information that is not available as of now. And there can be various things that may work for certain brands or certain publishers that may not work for others. But this is the whole point of having the data. What works for you as a company? What works for you as an organization? And you concentrate on those strategies. And that's what we are trying to bring to the forefront. Everything backed by data, visualization, so that people can understand what is working, what is not, and make the necessary changes in order to add value. That is what we are getting to.
Yeah, there's no point in creating a single source of truth if you can't visualize it and use that data, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, reporting dashboards, look forward to seeing those very shortly. And as you might have been able to hear on this podcast, there's been a little bit of background noise. That is because the team has grown quite a bit. We've got more people in the office. We've got more more bodies working on Alkimi, and I think we wanted just to talk through some of those people that have joined the team. We've got 2 new salespeople that have joined that have got a storied history in working with media agencies, working with advertisers to help us onboard more of that ad spend, using the video formats, using the additional formats that we'll build in the future. And then also we've had 4 new developers that have started in the team to continue building out all of the infrastructure, the node management system, everything that makes the exchange possible. So the team is growing. We are looking to continue to build as we have been doing for the last 2 years, but then also now start to have more people use the infrastructure itself and start to have everything whirring at a little bit of a higher frequency than it has been for the last, not that it's not been a high frequency, but yeah, more to come.
Delivering more on those goals that
Exactly
we've got.
That, yeah.
Those OKRs that you keep setting everyone.
Yeah. Essential.
Yes, absolutely. It's good to see the team growing, and they've all added to the culture. It's been amazing working with everybody. So for all those of you from the team who are listening to this, welcome to the team, and it's been amazing having you. And we look forward to having a long association with all of you. Welcome to the team.
Yeah, welcome aboard.
Welcome to the crazy gang.
So with that, I think we will wrap up another episode of LabTalks. Depending on when this goes out, I'm not sure, but we have got another Uphold webinar this week. So if this is after that, I hope you joined. If it's before that, please join. And yeah, we look forward to speaking to you all the next time. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.
See you.